Whew. All right. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Summoner Blue. I'm here today to show off the basic sheet in action. Since some people still might be a little bit confused as to how they're going to work out. And they could probably be more optimized. Definitely, I'm not going to say this is the perfect sheet or anything like that for what we're doing. As well as some things may eventually be irrelevant, but that is what we're kind of doing in this first event is we're testing the waters and trying to see exactly what works and what doesn't work for our purposes. If we end up doing another event sometime this year, we will see if we can do much else to work with it. But until then, we only have this. This is the first time that a lot of you might be even seeing this. If it is, go down to the Discord link below if you want to take part in this event. But until then, I think it's a pretty good time for us to start things off. So first off, we do see that I'm going to be making an NPC with this sheet. Just letting you guys know. This isn't anybody's sheet that they're using. And whenever we talk about things over text, this is mainly what I'm going to be doing. None of the other companions or guild officers or anything have this Photoshop document. I can give it to them if they ever decide to help me with these things, but I feel like this is something that I need to do, mainly because it feels like if I don't do it, it's not going to get done how I want it to be done. So, the first thing we need to do whenever, and the first thing I will do whenever we talk about your characters, is that we will give a character name, as well as a target layer is hidden. I'm not wanting to target that layer. We need to work on your character name and your Discord name. So in my thing, I'm just going to put NPC Bob. That's not going to be what this NPC is, but NPC Bob is what I'm going to be calling them for right now. And their Discord name is Summoner Blue. That is my Discord name, so that's who's going to be running this character. It is different than NPC Bob. I'm pretty sure my name is not NPC Bob, so I will be noting myself as somebody who is on the side of needing a Discord name added onto that. With that being said, you probably noticed this little area over here. If you read the latest lore, which you need to read the latest lore in order to even participate in this, there is a bit of a thing between three of the companions, Black, Orange, and White, where they have chosen their own people to go on this expedition to the past. I know, my first event and we're doing time travel. Luckily it's easy time travel where nothing affects anything unless we say it does. But right now we can get rid of that, and we'll say that NPC Bob is on White's team, because that's going to help out a little bit later when I'm explaining White's team. If not, we would have said he's on Black's team or on Orange's team, but right now we'll say he's on White's team. It also looks better on the sheet, to be fair. Basically what this means is that he was chosen by Sorcerer White to go back into the past, and that he will do whatever is necessary to get rid of all threats. One thing I was told was that it was kind of vague as to how strong the characters are and why they're expected to be able to do any of these feats, such as defeating all these threats and things like that. Mostly desperation. There's not anybody else who can do it, so as adventurers of some note, which means you are exceptional beyond the commoner, you are being tasked with this so that it gets done, because none of the others can or are willing to do it. You are doing this because you are literally the only people who can do this. That is the extent of that I can go into. So this character, we'll say, will be a summoner. So put a little X there. This summoner will be a non-combatant. So we would usually click this for a combatant or this for a non-combatant. I want to do a non-combatant right now just to show you guys what all can happen. And they could be connected to another character. We can put that little X there, which is a little bit out of place, and I forgot to move it after making the sheets before. So let's go ahead and move that there. This is why I haven't given the PDF to anybody, because it's not very optimized, you see. However, this character will not have a connection to anybody, so we'll not have that clicked in because it's an NPC, you see. You can see that there's other things here, such as we can go over here to race. Had to click on the actual race section. This could be whatever fantasy race your character is. We'll say, for all intents and purposes, elf could be here. You could also say Warforged if you want to. Those will be a little bit harder to put into the world, but you can do it. We can make anything work because we are the ultimate bullshitters. You could also say Cat Girl. I honestly don't care what you guys are. If you say Cat Girl, I'll probably end up calling them like a Beastman. So like, you know, anything like that. This could also be fucking Dragon. You can be whatever you want to be in here as long as it fits in the setting. I've told people that this is a high fantasy setting with a little bit of like clockwork / steampunky ingenuity. Basically, don't say that you're a robot, say that you're a golem or a warforged or something. Don't say that you're a space marine, say that you're a fucking planar traveler, you know, like you know, different things like that. Like those aren't races, but that it still works with what I'm trying to say. So for this character, we'll say they're an elf, just to keep things simple. At which point, they're a non-combatant. Normally, I would say that a combatant would have around 10 health if they're a Templar or a summoner. That will, you know, that will change a little bit depending on what I decide whenever we're making the character, but the baseline is around 10. If it was a summon, I would say 20, because they're big boys and they do not get they get hit a lot, and they'll need to have more HP because they're gonna have less AC than other people because they're big. So because this is a non-combatant, however, they're gonna have half of that recommended, which will be 5. Let's go ahead and look how non-optimized this thing is. So we're gonna say that they have 5. Unfortunately, this means that 2 or 3 hits from literally anything will kill them. Potentially 1 hit from a powerful summon or a powerful Templar, depending on what happens. So try not to have that happen. Normally, with a summoner, I would say that their AC would be 12, because, you know, they do have some robes and they're tiny boys. They can run away. But as a non-combatant, I'm going to say that theirs is 8. This is basically the stream where I tell you guys don't go non-combatant. I'm kidding. Basically, with that, you have an 8. Nothing you can really do much about that. You're gonna get hit with some things if you're doing stuff. It isn't on the line. I'll make it be on the line. Unfortunately, with the way things work here, if I put a space, it doesn't do anything. So we're just gonna have to like do the 8 currently. Other than that, normally I would say that you'd have a modifier as well. Because, you know, that's what things are going to be. This person, I don't know why I got rid of the thing for the strike modifier. This person would be a summoner, so their thing will come from their skills mostly. So their skill-based modifier will be +1 usually. However, as a non-combatant, they can only do a maximum of 1 damage for anything they do. So 0, you see. Otherwise known as, don't worry about it, you don't have anything. Currently, you don't have any modifiers, because if you had modifiers, that would make you deal more damage, and we're not doing that. It also would help you to hit things, which we're not allowing you to do really. Anytime you decide you want to hit something, you're rolling a base d20 and you're doing a maximum of 1 damage because you are a non-combatant, is the extent of that. No matter what you pick, if you are a combatant or a non-combatant, you guys are going to get 6 skills, 6 skill points to put in either your strength, dexterity, focus, charm, or luck. Strength is for your feats of strength, for your physique, things like that. And for your strength saves. So like if somebody drops a boulder on you and you're like, I want to try to fucking move it, you'll have to roll your strength save to see if you can fucking move it without getting crushed. Note, if somebody drops a boulder on you, I'm probably going to kill you if you say you're going to stand in its way, unless you're like a summoner, or like a summon, or you're a Templar. Or you know what, don't do it if you're a summoner, you're tiny squish. At least a Templar can like negate damage on themselves with one of their skills, but a summoner cannot. Don't do it. If you're a summoner, just don't do it. Just don't do it. However, if you want to get out of the way of that fucking boulder, there's dexterity. This would mean for you to roll a whatever you choose to put in here for your dexterity in order to try to have that be your save. I would say this character would have we'll say a +1. They're gonna put one of their points here. So that's gonna be, they're gonna have a +1 to their dexterity saves and their dexterity checks. None of these have to do with damage or for hitting people. They're all checks and saves. That's it. That's all these are. As a magic focus class, as a summoner, their focus is going to be a pretty big deal. So we're going to say they're going to have a +3 in focus. What this actually means is they have the maximum amount of focus that they have. You guys have 6 points. There are things that have a maximum of 3. I'm going to put the maximum number of 3 on this boy. He has 2 points remaining, so I'm going to give him a +2 in charm. As an NPC, he's not going to need this because he's an NPC. But I like having people be charming because I associate charming with good looking or charismatic. And that's not how it really is. A lot of people do that, but it's just something I've carried over from like 3.5 edition of D&D. It's not true. All charm is going to do for you is let you pass certain checks that would cause you to have to roll your charm, such as being charmed by an ability. Somebody tries to be like, hey, how about you just stop what you're doing? Mwah. Like if they have like a succubus or something, and you're like, okay. That's basically what your charm check would be for. Like, oh, fuck, this succubus is trying to get me to stop moving. I better not do that because that's a demon. But, I want this character to have a little bit of resistance to stuff like that, even though they can't use charm for the other ability, which would be if you're a player character using charm as a check, you would be going up to people and be like, hey, how about you don't think about why we're in this position and, like, over here with all these people? Nah. And they're like, ah! Just playing around. So that's all 6 of the points that will be used for this character. If you are a summon, I would give you more points, as well as a higher ceiling. I believe I have summons have a ceiling of I believe a 5 for their stats. So you can have up to like 5 strength. And I think I'm giving summons an 8 in their points. Like it's either 8 or 9, I can't remember exactly. It might be 9. But yeah, you might see luck over here. Luck is something you cannot change by yourself. One day I may decide while you're adventuring or you're doing something and you're going into these halls that you open up a treasure chest, because treasure chests are fucking everywhere. And it's like, oh shit, there was a brooch of +1 luck in there, and you're like, oh fuck, really? And I'm like, no, you're unlucky, you don't get it. It broke. That's really sucks, man. but that would be kind of like how it would be. Like you only gain luck through stuff like that. Unless you have a unique skill that will give you luck, which we'll go into in just a minute. With that being said, here is the character stats for what I want them to do. They're not very strong. I was playing around with the idea of letting you guys take negatives in certain things, and then I was like, that seems complicated, and we're not doing that. So we're not doing that because it's complicated. Other than that, if we look here in the class skills, this character has, you know, whatever. He's a summoner, so let's not worry too much about his stuff. Go ahead and unclick the basic sheet and click the summoner class skills. The summoner class skills are summon creature. You summon your bonded creature to your location. The creature must be willing or fail a focus check against the summoner's skill-based mod check, which in this case is a 0, because they don't have anything, because they're a non-combatant. If the creature is bound or unconscious, the skill has no effect, which means if your summon has been defeated, you pick that bitch up and you run, because you can't. The only way that you can really force it to go away is if you were a more powerful summoner. And unfortunately, you guys in this game will mainly not actually be summoners. You're pretending to be summoners. So the base level skills that White can give you does not go into forcing your summon to go away if they're unconscious. So if you have like another player character and they're like a pixie and they've just gotten their ass kicked, you run over and you pick that fucker up and you run away, because like you can't do anything else at that point. They're about to get killed. Or you can stand and fight, because there is also another class ability they have, which is just called Bolt. I almost called it Jolt. A Bolt or Jolt is whichever one's there. You fire a bolt of energy at the target. Focus roll to hit. So I guess it is a hitting with things. I guess I was a liar. So yeah, so you're rolling your focus. I'm pretty sure at the Templar class skills I also have. Yeah. Okay, so these are 2 hits sometimes. Only for skills though, not for random attacks. For regular attacks, I mean. Maybe for regular attacks. I don't fucking. We'll figure it out. It's early in the morning and I'm recording this. Okay. So, yes, I remember now. The reason I said that these aren't for 2 attacks, because there's no attack that uses charm. So strength, dexterity, and focus are still 2 hit. I'm a dumbass. Anyway, on hit deals skill-based damage +1. So if you had a skill-based modifier, it would do whatever your skill-based modifier is +1, which is why a non-combatant doesn't have that. And secondary effects of your bonded creature may apply additional benefits. Depending on what creature you have, it could apply more benefits, such as either more damage, or like if you have like, let's say like a viper as your summon, maybe it'll poison them. We'll decide what poison means whenever you get a viper, because no one's going to choose a viper, because people are mostly probably going to choose the summon player characters, because that's what makes things even stronger, because a summon player character is going to be better than a random fucking viper that you get, or a imp, or a slime. The player characters are going to be much more powerful than them. However, if you choose not to have a player character, you still can have a regular summon, such as a viper. You get it. And then finally we have your unique skill. Whenever this goes about things, people have been wondering what's going to happen with the unique skills. That they're a little bit, you know, kind of weird. Your unique skill doesn't have to fit in this little section. We can have it be an entire sheet unto itself if we want to. Look how easy it is to change the size of this sheet. You can just have more stuff. Like we can just make more stuff here if we need to. Your unique skill will have something to do with your unique skill could have something to do with your race. It could have something to do with your class. It could have something to do with yourself. Maybe you're a unique person. Maybe Bob here is a really good builder. So we'll say like, hey, Bob, what are you good at? And he's like, oh, I'm really good at like carpentry. So we'll say that your unique skill is carpentry. I don't know how to spell carpentry. Okay, so carpentry. You have a carpentry skill. This allows you to use your carpentry powers to basically there you go. We'll go into more detail as to what this means. But basically you have your carpentry skill, and depending on if you're a combatant or a non-combatant, it can be different things. If you're a combatant, these skills are going to be very limited, which means that maybe you can only Fortnite build yourself one time. to victory. So like maybe, you know, I put on here one use. So you have this one time to use this, and then you're tired of playing Fortnite because it's a bad game. At least I kind of like Fortnite. I like the single player Fortnite, but you know, I played that before the other stuff, and then the other stuff overtook it, and now nobody knows that Fortnite even has a single player mode. But if you're a non-combatant like this character, I'll probably just be like, yeah, just Fortnite build your way to victory. We'll see how things go, and we'll mess with it if it needs to work on stuff. Also, just so you guys know, throughout the game, I'll maybe giving you guys more skills and more unique skills. So, you know, maybe you'll get another unique skill at some point. It really depends on roleplay, depends on things you guys find. If you guys actually listen to the people who are teaching at the college, which I doubt you will, stuff like that. And we'll see how things kind of go from there, depending on how stuff goes through. It all depends on roleplay. None of the stuff here, in my opinion, actually matters. All of this sheet is so simple and basic that even if you guys had 0 modifiers, rolling a d20 means you guys could still succeed half of the time whenever you roll it out. Maybe, you know, a little bit less than half of the time. But people like their numbers, which is why the numbers are here. And people like being unique, which is why the unique skills and the numbers are here. Mostly what I want to see you guys do during this event is actually roleplay. Roleplay well enough that it keeps not only yourself having fun, but potentially other people could be interested to play with you. This, you know, means kind of make sure that you make a character that works with whichever faction you guys decided to join. And you guys don't, you know, just try to make everything about yourselves. Maybe you ask for help from other people. Maybe you understand your limitations. While your characters aren't nobodies, they are still starting out with stuff. I like to put the baseline as a level 3 adventurer, because a level 3 adventurer in D&D is somebody who does have note. They are like a small town hero. They are somebody who is out to protect people and can take on an entire fucking mass of wolves for like by themselves. They're things that legends start out from. You are an exceptional being, usually. And again, if you're not a combatant, we can still take that as a thing. Maybe you're an exceptional healer, so I'll give you a healing ability that you can either use constantly or very well a couple of times a day. Maybe, you know, maybe you're a dragon, and, you know, dragons are fucking exceptional. But, like, you know, maybe you're not the greatest dragon in the world, but you are the greatest dragon in the area. You know what I mean? Think of yourselves as it's kind of like with that. Most people are on the same level as somebody who would choose a dragon, at least, you know, to an extent. So that does mean that those people are strong. They're strong individuals, and they're even stronger when together, which is why people are asking you to go out on this adventure anyway. But yeah, basically what we would do is what I just did here. It took no time at all. We'll talk about your unique skill, which will probably be the most talking that we probably could do. Depending on what you want to say your unique skill is, we can change your base modifiers to go with it. People could potentially talk to me about, you know, hey, what if I want less skills? And be like, okay, if you have, maybe you don't have to use all of them. It's like, okay, cool. You guys might get skills as the game goes on. You guys might get health as the game goes on, AC as the game goes on. Don't worry too much about the sheet. The sheet can always change depending on what happens. I'd like to think the sheet isn't even really there. Most of what you guys is your role play. That's the only way you're going to really be able to get the most from these kind of stories, because this isn't D&D. This isn't like my other stream games or anything as well. There isn't really too much of a system in place for up to like 20 people to be able to play one game balanced like that. If there is somebody who I feel like you guys are having trouble with, I may or may not lower their abilities, because I'm like, oh, maybe I made this person too strong. May or may not. I could just kill you guys outright, because I'm like, fuck you. Or if you guys are potentially struggling with something, or not struggling. If you guys are like overwhelmingly destroying something, maybe I'll give it a couple more hit points. The DM is supposed to make it to where things are fun but fair. You have to have a perfect, like a kind of a perfect balance with that. I'm not going to do things. I've made characters for, just like all of you are going to be making characters. I made all of my characters as NPCs using these exact sheets. Some of them have more points than others because they're more important characters. Some of them have more HP than others because I know that you guys are going to gang up on them and destroy them with your even if like 8 characters were to like come up on somebody and start stabbing them in the shins, they're going to work through 8 HP in one round, you know what I mean? So most of the NPCs will probably have more HP than you, but that's just because that's how gameplay works. But in the end, I hope that this kind of got you guys to think a little bit more about what's going to be happening here. The last thing I want to note is, again, I wanted to talk about the White faction here. Like if you join Sorcerer White as as one of his people he chose to come here. This does not mean you're an evil character. This means that you are a force that is listening to Sorcerer White and agree with him that there are threats here that you feel like you want to protect your city from, or your loved ones from, or your way of life from. Because again, Kepton or the network, the area that you all are staying in this universe, is, from what other people can see, a paradise. You want to protect it. You want to make sure the people there are happy and healthy, and that nothing is happening to them. And at that point, you listen to what White says. And again, if you haven't read the lore, go read it right now. But ... waiting for people to pause and read the lore if they want to. White has said, if you find a threat, eliminate it. I'm giving you all, as a collective, 1 extra use of this ability that will make our timeline synced up and make whatever you do canon, basically canon. If you want to kill Blue, break that fucking toothpick, man. Stab him in the heart, break the toothpick, Blue's dead. And I've already told people, I'm not saving Blue if you guys kill Blue. You're not evil characters. You're people who are out there to do what needs to be done. You don't even have to do that. If you just have to not do that. Like, if you guys want to choose White's faction, you agree with him, but you don't want to be a combatant, that's fine. You can be somebody who helps out the others, gives them information. Maybe someone who wants to work for the good of like things and wants to be like, I don't know if the summoner is a threat. Maybe I should watch him on White's side. And if I do say he's a threat, I'll tell the others and they'll stab him in the heart and then we'll break this fucking thing. Like, it's basically down to that. You guys are keeping secrets, but you're not evil. If you choose to be on Black side or on Orange's side, the same thing's kind of there. Black and Orange's side, you want to follow by their tenets that they put up in the lore, which is I want to make things better, or I want to make sure we learn from things and don't fuck it up. And then of course White side is I want to do what is necessary. I hope that this helps. Most things that you guys can probably understand with this, I'm sure that you guys can talk to me about whenever we make your character. I'm going to be very busy doing all of this today, and for the next day, and probably the next day, and probably the next day. Just remain patient, and eventually we will get your sheets done. I won't start without anyone. As long as there is a sheet to be done and that person is online, we will do it. I'm also not going to be doing it 24/7, so be patient. If you're not, guess who's not going to get really, like a really fucking good time to have fun? Again, if you guys aren't patient and you're like, fucking get on it, get on my character, I need to keep going, God, hurry up. then I'm probably not going to approve you no matter what, because you're being an asshole to me, and I'm the DM. But mostly just act like regular people, act like regular human beings with this, guys. We can get this done, and we can get you guys into start playing things and having fun. And I believe in each of you, and as long as this goes without too much of a hitch, I'm sure that we can have a good time with it. I think that's just about everything. Just be sure to look at all of the stuff we have in the approved characters thing, and try to use that to your advantage whenever making your character. Until next time, guys, I hope that you enjoy yourselves during the event. I'm going to enjoy myself, hopefully. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, or wisecracks, send them to me in private message whenever you go to start your character. And until next time, guys, like always, later days.